Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. Again, talking with head football coach Pete Shinnick. Coach, Luke Charles was injured last week, of course, but coming back from that injury against the game in Tusculum, he played very well, at least in my opinion. How did he look to you, and how did he look to the coaching staff?
Well, I think he was a little rusty getting started. He had a couple of really easy passes early on that kind of caused us, I think, to go 3 and out there on the first series. But after that, I think he started to get his rhythm and started to get more comfortable. He's a guy that works extremely hard during the week to prepare himself. So excited to have him back, and looking forward to him to continue to get better each week.
And Coach, as I like to do, I like to focus on one offensive player and one defensive player when we talk. And I know T-Vel had a big game, and he's on the verge of breaking a number of receiving records for the school. But I wanted to focus on maybe one of the unsung heroes on the receiver corps this week, Ben DeSalle. He scored a 60-yard touchdown, as you said. He brought 5 catches for 91 yards altogether. Talk a little bit about what Ben brings to this team.
Well, Ben brings great consistency in everything that we do, whether we're running or passing. He can block extremely well. He's not afraid to get on a defender and stay on him and help our running game, as well as when we throw our quick screens. And then his hands have been very, very consistent this year. So really happy for Ben. He's probably one of the harder workers on the team. He's on our kickoff cover team. He's on our punt cover team as well. So he contributes a lot of ways that probably a lot of people don't see.
I also have to contribute that he's a political science major and he's a straight A student. So, I mean, he's the student athlete, exactly the way that you want to define it. I want to talk a little bit about the defense as well. We mentioned Devontae, and he had a huge game, but I wanted to focus on LJ Stroman for a minute since we haven't talked about him yet this year. He also had a pretty big day on defense. He led the team with 12 tackles. Talk about his contribution on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I think anytime your corner leads your team in tackles, it tells you what they're doing and what they were trying to do. And they threw a lot of balls his way, and LJ has been a very consistent defender for us. He's one of our top coverage guys. He brings a lot to the table. Last couple weeks, he's had a lot of balls thrown his way, and he's had a couple that have gotten over him a little bit. But for the most part, like you say, he's playing very well. We need him to be as consistent and strong as he's been in the past for us to continue this throughout the rest of the season.
I have to ask you, this is off script, but does your secondary, when they're lined up on defense, do they go, I want you to throw that ball to me? Is that what you want them to do?
Well, that's what you want them to do, and that's what you hope they're thinking. And for the most part, I think the guys back there, Quentin, Sean, Brandon, Bridges, and Stroh, they all like the ball coming at them, and they'd all like to have the opportunity to get a pick.
Well, let's talk about what's coming up next for the Braves. Up next is the first game of a 3-game homestand. You're taking on the Charleston Golden Eagles at 2:00 p.m., so if any of the fans want to come and watch the game, they'll have time after this broadcast. They're 5-1, as we mentioned. You handed them a pretty heavy 52-14 defeat at their place last year, but this is a team that clearly can put some points on the board. Talk a little bit about the Golden Eagles and what do we got to do to win?
Well, first off, when we played them last year, they were 1-5. Since that time, they've gone 10-2. So I really believe they're one of the most improved teams in Division II football at this time. They're 5-1 right now. So they went 5-1 to end the season, and they've gone 5-1 to start the season. So they're doing a great job. Very solid on both sides of the ball. Their offense can create some problems for you, and how well they run the ball, and they throw it just enough to keep you honest. And then defensively, a lot like Tusculum in that they can bring people from a lot of different places, a lot of different angles. And so we're excited to be at home because we've been on the road so much, but we know we've got a very good test in the University of Charleston.
All right, Coach, finally we got about 30 seconds left. This is a team that runs the ball very well. They're averaging about 200 yards a game on the ground. Of course, in the last 2 games you faced predominantly passing teams. How do you adjust your defense after playing so many passing-oriented teams?
Well, I think we forced Catawba to throw more than they wanted to, because Catawba had put up about 255 yards the week before rushing. I think that's what they wanted to do. Our defense is really built to stop the run. We're a gap sound defense. So I think this will be a really, really good challenge for us as we play a couple of pretty good running teams here, the last part of our season.
All right, Coach. Well, we wish you best luck against Charleston. Hopefully we'll be 6-1 when we talk this time next week. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Lady Braves soccer with Coach Lars Anderson.